Thank you for joining the Scholar Trek panel on health sciences. We have 4 wonderful colleges with us today participating in the panel. We've got, here we go. We've got Augusta University, the University of Pittsburgh, Nova Southeastern University, and the University of Alabama at Birmingham. And we're so excited to have you share your information with our viewers. Viewers, following this panel, we highly encourage you to visit each of the college's virtual booths within Basecamp to learn more about their school and to get connected with their admissions team. And with that, we will get started. All right, so I would like to ask each of you to please introduce yourself and your university and share one fun fact or highlight about your institution that sets you apart from the others. And we'll start with Augusta.
Thank you so much. My name is Teresa Young-Pinheiro, and I'm part of the admissions team at Augusta University. Augusta University was founded in 1828, and we are Georgia's designated health sciences center of excellence. What that means is we are host to the Medical College of Georgia, the Dental College of Georgia, so the only dental school in the state of Georgia and the only public medical institution in the state, as well as a whole host of other allied health science programs, both at the undergraduate and the graduate level, as well as the oldest college of nursing in the state of Georgia. In addition to that, we have many other degree options, but we're one of Georgia's 4 research institutions, and really excited to share more with you today about all that Augusta has to offer.
Great, thank you. Now we'll go to Nova Southeastern. We can't hear you. No. Oops. There. I'll tell you what. We'll come back to you. I'm going to jump to Pitt, and I'm going to let you play with the audio. All right, let's go to Pitt.
Hi everyone, my name is Bria Charles and I work for the University of Pittsburgh, both in our Office of Admissions and Financial Aid and in our Dietrich School of Arts and Sciences, which houses the majority of health science options here at the University of Pittsburgh. We are a Tier 1 research school located in Oakland, Pittsburgh. So we are a city school with still a lot of green space. And one of our fun facts is that we have 6 different hospitals, either on campus or within walking distance from campus, ranging from children's to psychiatry and everything in between. So a lot of really good opportunities and experiences to be found, especially during your time as an undergrad. Thanks for having me today.
All right, let's try and go back to Sarah at Nova Southeastern. Now, and it's still. All right, while she's working on that, let's jump to University of Alabama at Birmingham.
Hi, everyone. My name is Caitlin Norton, and I'm the Associate Director of Out-of-State Recruitment at UAB. We are located in beautiful Birmingham, Alabama. We were established in 1969, so we are a newer institution, but our roots go all the way back to the 1930s when we were established as an offshoot of UA as the medical school for the state of Alabama. We have over 8 different hospitals in our city, 5 on our campus, and within easy walking distance for our students. And our nursing program is number 9 in the country. I look forward to sharing with you guys all that UAB has to offer you, and look forward to you guys coming and visiting us.
Great, thank you. All right, 3rd time's the charm. Sarah, let's hear from Nova Southeastern. No, well, I can hear you faintly.
So strange. Do you want me to try to?
There we go. We got you.
You got me?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Amazing. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that. Always some technical difficulties.
We're glad we can hear you.
Okay, awesome. Well, my name is Sarah LaFaso. I work here at NSU in undergraduate admissions. I am an assistant director. So we are a private selective research university located in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We have over 50 undergraduate programs. We are very heavy in the medical field and research base. As I said, we are also a Hispanic serving institution with alumni from all 50 states and over 115 countries. So we are a mid-sized institution as well. We are D2 with some of our sports, and I'm excited to share more about our health sciences programs with you guys today.
Great. Thank you all very much. Now, if you would give us a brief overview of the range and maybe a little more specifics about some of the health sciences majors that you offer, including your pre-professional programs. And we'll start with Nova Southeastern.
Perfect. Thank you. So yeah, we definitely have a range. We have a lot of different options for our undergraduate students. We do have our College of Osteopathic Medicine. So we have options for students like health and wellness coaching, biology, chemistry, public health, health informatics, pre-optometry, cardiovascular sonography programs, health sciences, medical sonography, respiratory therapy, speech and language. There are so many different options students can come in and choose from. And going on to that pre-professional track, we also have a lot of different options, including a specific program that our students can apply to and be a part of called dual admission. We do have over 30 of those options, and that's where students have the opportunity to reserve their seat as an incoming freshman at NSU in one of our graduate programs. So some of the most popular ones are things like physical therapy, physician's assistant, anesthesia, osteopathic medicine, and things like psychology, optometry, and dental medicine.
Okay. Thank you very much. How about University of Pittsburgh?
Yeah, so we have a huge range as well, from your traditional biology, chemistry courses and majors to neuroscience and microbiology to pre-dentistry, pre-med, pre-health. We have communication sciences, exercise sciences, all of those kinds of things that students tend to be looking for. And we also do have a guaranteed admissions program, which allows students as they're applying to Pitt for their first year as an undergrad to also apply into some of our graduate programs in the health sciences. And students who are admitted through our guaranteed admissions programs, instead of having a vague, ambiguous, I'm going to try and get into my next round of graduate school, you have a checklist that you follow while you're at Pitt, which makes it a lot more achievable, takes away some of the anxiety as you think through what your graduate future could look like, because we know that so many students who are interested in the health sciences are also interested in going to more school after. A lot of our programs also have a tie into research, which allows our students to really get hands-on experiences no matter what their major is, and really see kind of what field they're interested in, but not just what field, but kind of who do you want to practice with? Are you interested in pediatrics? Are you interested in geriatrics? How do you want to take your degree and have it work for you with your unique and specific interests?
Great, thank you very much. Let's go to UAB.
Awesome. We also have a large range, just like every other institution on the panel today. So we offer everything from classic biology, chemistry, nursing. We have our pre-professional programs as well, but we also have some programs that are very unique to UAB. We are the only undergraduate program in the country to offer cancer biology. We also offer bioinformatics, biomedical engineering, programs along those lines as well. We also are the only accredited public health program in the state of Alabama. We do have an early admit program into medical school, graduate programs, and our Doctor of Physical Therapy. And then we do have tracks around the traditional pre-med, pre-dentistry, pre-optometry. And then we do have also a direct admit and secondary admit options for our School of Nursing. So there is a lot of choices for our students when it comes to the programs and the range of programs offered at UAB.
Great, thank you very much. And Augusta.
Absolutely. So in our college, I should mention, as all others have said, we have a wide variety and array of programs. In the more arts and the College of Arts and Humanities. There are majors in health, society, and policy, as well as things like social work, where you're going to be in the health environment. But in our College of Allied Health Sciences, we have a number of degrees that are going to allow you to be a professional practicing in that field from the moment you're licensed and graduate. Those include dental hygiene. These are all Bachelor of Science degrees: dental hygiene, clinical laboratory science, health information administration, nuclear medicine technology, respiratory therapy, and radiation therapy. Those are all quite unique programs throughout the Southeast. And then in addition to that, we have the College of Nursing, where you can earn your BSN for your bachelor's degree and be ready to go right to the Doctorate of Nursing practice programs after graduation. And for the nursing programs, there is a nursing scholars program where on entry to Augusta during the early action period, you can be accepted and guarantee a spot for yourself in the nursing program, meeting certain criteria. At the doctorate level, we have programs in occupational therapy, physical therapy, public health, and a variety of others. And also only one of a small handful of programs in medical illustration. It's a very, very unique program that is, again, only found at a handful of schools across the country at the graduate level. And then finally, we have pre-professional programs, pre-dental, pre-medical, pre-veterinary science. And during Augusta's early action period, students who meet the academic criteria that are listed on the website can apply to our accelerated BSMD or BSDMD programs. Students who are admitted to those programs complete their first 3 years of undergraduate education and then are guaranteed admission to the Medical College of Georgia or to the Dental College of Georgia. The students simultaneously completing your 4th year of undergraduate studies by actually completing your first year at MCG or DCG. So it's a 7-year track to earning your MD or DMD for that highly competitive program. You can find that on our website by searching for professional scholars. We call that professional scholars.
Great. Thank you very much. All right, let's move here. So now if you would talk a little bit about, and some of you had mentioned on it briefly, but your pre-professional tracks, how does that impact the student's selection of a major? And if we could start with the University of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, so for us, the pre-professional track is something that you add on to what you're already doing. So if you're interested in being a pre-med student, so you want to go to med school, you can choose any major you want and be on that pre-med track. Traditionally, students choose things like neuroscience or microbiology or chemistry, but we also have students who will pursue a music major and also be on that pre-med track. And with that, you tend to actually earn a chemistry minor due to how many courses that med schools are looking for are in the chemistry department. So it's a really nice way to kind of mix your interests together while still being able to focus on your final goal. And so we have pre-med tracks, pre-dental, pre-OT, pre-PT, kind of anything that you could look for in a graduate program. We have the pre-track version of it. For us here at Pitt, it also means that you're meeting with specialty academic advisors to make sure that you are staying on that track, that you're taking the courses in the right order that will help you with whatever kind of test you need to take, whether it be the OAT or the MCAT, in order to get into that graduate program. And just to make sure that you're doing well, you still want to go to this graduate level school. I think a lot of times students have ideas. You watched a lot of Grey's Anatomy, so you come to college really excited about med school or whatever it might be. And then you take a couple of classes and you might determine that it's not your best fit, or there's a different sector of med that is a better fit for you. And so our pre-med advisors and our pre-health advisors really help our students navigate that path. But you could be a public health undergraduate student who is going on the pre-med track, or who's looking to be a speech pathologist or an audiologist or whatever it might be for the specific student.
Great, thank you very much. Let's go to UAB.
like Pitt said, it is a track, not a major. So those tracks, whether that be pre-optometry, pre-medical, pre-dental, pre-PT, pre-OT, you name it, pre-whatever, is partnering alongside your major of choice. You can really major in anything when it comes to your end goal. We do have at UAB what we also call our Joint School of Medicine program. So we have 6 majors within that Joint School of Medicine where our students are taking classes across both before they're admitted into med school. So they're getting to work with the research side of things and study alongside our medical students as well before they're even in the med school. So we do have those options for our students. One of those being our cancer biology programs, neuroscience, things of that nature. So you do have a lot of options when it comes to being in either the pre-professional track or one of those Joint School of Medicine programs at UAB.
Great. Thank you. How about Augusta?
I would also second what University of Pittsburgh shared at the beginning. I would highlight at Augusta University related to our physical therapy and occupational therapy, those pre-professional tracks for those specific areas. Those are housed in our major with kinesiology. Students who, there are 4 different tracks in kinesiology, including nutrition and also exercise and sports science, in addition to pre-physical therapy, pre-occupational therapy. And so students who are especially interested in physical therapy and would like to be part of Augusta University's honors program, those students have benchmarks that they're given, and as long as they're meeting all those benchmarks and working through the honors program, they're basically guaranteed admission to the physical therapy program here. So those sorts of things can guide a student's major. Just like Bree said, you can choose to be a major in cellular and molecular biology. It's very common at Augusta University for pre-med, but you could also easily be a history major or a music major or even another major that calls your name. So that helps guide the student selections at Augusta.
Thank you. And let's have Nova Southeastern wrap up this question.
Thank you. So I think to echo kind of all of my co-hosts here, we offer similarly the same thing with our undergraduate degrees. So as long as students are fulfilling those prerequisites within those like science courses, they can really major in whatever it is they desire. Something that I noticed just working in undergraduate admissions, a lot of students do come in as a public health or biology, health informatics major. Sometimes they change it because they do realize they have a passion maybe in a different sector, or they just want to open themselves up to more opportunities. But students really do have the opportunity to kind of pick and choose with their major and see what works best for them for that pre-med track.
Thank you very much. All right, let's move forward. Whoops, here we go. All right, so for students that aren't sure about specifically what they want to do, but they know that they're interested in a health sciences career, can you recommend an academic pathway that they would pursue? And how would a student transition to a specific program, and at what point in their college career would they do that? Let's start with UAB.
So I'll start by saying it's totally fine to be undecided or not completely have your decision made by the time you enter into an institution. At UAB, we don't require you to declare a major until your sophomore year. So that gives you 4 semesters to really play around with, take different classes, and get to know different programs. My number 1 advice is start with the one that you think is of the most interest to you at this time. So if you're like, I think I want to study cancer biology, or I think I want to do bioinformatics, cool, let's start there, and then we can always change down the road. I actually was talking to a current student this past week, and she was on the pre-med track. She's a senior. She just changed to a pre-PA track 2 months ago. And so you definitely have those options to switch what you're doing. Pre-PA is always a good option too if you're undecided on what type of medicine you want to study as well, because you have a lot more flexibility. Pre-med is great, but it's not always the end all to be all. So I guess overall, to answer the question, Laurel, you have time, you have flexibility, students. There's not always a right path. Each student is different. And so coming in, knowing what you want to study or not knowing what you want to study is okay. Just start with something and then we can work with you once you get to UAB.
That's great. Thank you. How about Augusta?
I have a couple of things that I would recommend to students as they're thinking and deciding and probably stressing, because it's a stressful decision and a stressful time. So at Augusta University, you do need to declare a major on coming in, but that doesn't mean you can't change it. The intention is that as you declare a major, you'll be able to really start exploring immediately some of the necessary classes, and you'll start to understand if this feels like a good fit for me, or maybe I don't feel so good. So maybe I need to look for that change like Keelan was talking about. So my other points of suggestions would be to get involved with student research. There's opportunities, even if things aren't within your major at Augusta University, you can be part of the Center for Undergraduate Research Studies with a professor's research, be their assistant, and maybe something you're thinking about, maybe I want to take this path, but I'm not sure. And you can get involved with their research and see in a very hands-on way about is that a path that I maybe want to change to or continue on? And then the second thing I would recommend would be shadowing. So for example, with our dental hygiene program, shadowing hours are actually required as part of the application process. That's something that the student could start doing fairly early in their process. I understand with COVID, some environments can be quite restricted still, even as far as being able to be in that environment and shadowing the professional, but sometimes conducting an informational interview with that professional in the field and hearing more from them about what are the skills that they have, what are the daily tasks that they have to do, things you might not think about, and understanding how what you're studying will lead to that professional career can maybe help you connect the dots about, yes, I can see myself on a path to doing this or that, or maybe that doesn't sound like the right fit. I want to explore something a little different.
Great. Thank you very much. Let's go to Nova Southeastern.
Thank you. So yeah, similarly, we do have our students when they apply to choose a major, but you can come in undecided. That can be a major that you choose on your application, and you can absolutely change it. Something that I would suggest is if a student is interested in the health science in general, but they're not sure, what it is they want to do, and maybe they started off with biology, at least start taking those prerequisites that are going to be required by any of those health science majors. You can definitely change your major in the next, usually in your freshman and sophomore year before you start taking those major courses. But we do offer something called Excel units. So they're really like experiences that we have our students complete throughout their undergraduate. And one of the options is career development. So I always recommend this to my students to get involved as early as their freshman year with career development, because it gives you the opportunity to shadow someone in their workplace. So if you think maybe I want to be a doctor, or maybe I want to be a dentist, and you have the opportunity to shadow two different people within their workplace, you can kind of see maybe something resonates with you. Maybe you're like, I actually hate teeth. This is not for me. And just give you that life experience that you obviously wouldn't have had prior to coming to college. So there's definitely a lot of options. Kind of like what Teresa said, it can be a little scary, but they give you all those options and the opportunity to achieve your life.
Thank you very much. All right, let's hear from University of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, so here at Pitt, there are 3 different schools that you might want to start in. Our School of Arts and Sciences, which houses kind of the majority of those traditional health science majors, our School of Public Health, which houses public health, and our School of Nursing, which houses nursing. So first, we'd ask you to kind of choose which of those 3 areas sounds most interesting. But once you get here, regardless of if you say that you're undecided as your major or you have a strong idea of what you want your major to be, all Pitt students start as undeclared students, in large part because we know the majority of students are going to change their mind about what they want their major to be no matter what. So it saves us on some paperwork and it saves the students on some paperwork. So we just have you start as undecided. undecided or undeclared. And then from there, you can start taking classes towards your major your first semester. And if you still aren't sure what that is, I really want to echo what Sarah said, which is that if you know you want to go into graduate school within the sciences and within the health sciences, you're going to need to take biology, you're going to need to take chemistry, and so you can take those off the bat. You'll likely need to take a physics class and really start working on those prereqs for the graduate program that you know that you want to seek before you really narrow in on what you want your major to be. I'll also echo what's been said about experiential learning. Do some shadowing, do some research, do an internship, do an informational meeting with your professors or with someone at the hospital. They all want to help you figure out what to do next. And people are in their fields for a reason. They love what they do. And so if you ask them why they love it, they're going to go on a whole spiel and you're going to be stuck with them for at least 30 minutes. But that's to your benefit. That's for you to figure out, okay, they love this for XYZ reasons. Do I like any of those things? Do I relate to that at all? And if you do, fantastic. That might be a really good indicator that you're on the right track. And if you don't, then maybe it's time to meet with somebody else and to meet with your academic advisor and to figure out, okay, you know, I shadowed and I just realized that when I see blood, I pass out. So what should I do instead? Or I shadowed and I absolutely had the best time of my life and now I can't stop talking about it. How can I make sure that this is an option for me? So really utilizing your resources. Every university that you go to will have really good resources to help you be successful. That's what we all want. We all want to have successful students. And so just take stock of what those are and use them as needed.
All right, well, that's a great segue to our next question, which is what resources or opportunities for academic success are available to students on your campus? And if we could start with Augusta.
I will start knowing how integral getting started on the right foot is. We have something called the Academic Success Center, which is open to all students. It's a beautiful space, first of all, on our campus, and then they host a satellite space on the health science campus, which is also right in Augusta, about 10 minutes from our Somerville campus. And the Academic Success Center has student tutors who have been excellent students in their given subject. So whether that's biology or chemistry, English or mathematics, that class that you need to do well in. And so they've been trained as tutors for those areas, and they have both drop-in tutoring, group tutoring, one-on-one, and then things by appointment. And then we have professional academic success coaches. So those coaches conduct workshops, but also do one-on-one coaching with students on how to study for tests, how to take good notes to prepare for those examinations down the road, how to process all of the information that you're receiving, how to study efficiently. We also have a math science tutoring center specifically to go even more in depth in some of those subject areas. A lot of those opportunities are also for students to go on, and you could be a student employee in those areas. So that might be a great way to work on your resume, get some additional skills, as well as earn money while you're at school. And then I think I'm going to just touch on here our Center for Undergraduate Research Studies, but I'm going to elaborate on that in the next question. And that's an excellent opportunity for students to get involved. We also have the Center for Writing Excellence at Augusta University, and being a research institution, it's not just a writing center for English papers. The Writing Center is doing some really innovative things right now, expanding to include extra support for writing and research in a lot of the sciences, and including student and faculty and staff coaches for that writing excellence. So you can be very specific to the disciplines that you're working in developing and being an excellent writer.
Great, thank you very much. Nova Southeastern.
Yes, thank you. So we do have things like tutoring and testing for all of our students. All students will get something called an Edge Advisor. So that is their career and academic coach throughout your 4 years in your undergraduate. So this is the person that will make sure you are on track for your major and or minor. They will make sure that you're fulfilling any internships, research work that you might need for that program specifically as well. And then also we do have really small class sizes. So typically our class sizes are around 17 students. The labs are also taught by the same professor. So if you feel like you are falling behind or you need a little bit of extra help, the professor knows who you are. They have those office hours. You're able to get that more like one-on-one mentorship. I know with like some of our chemistry classes, they can be as small as 5 students. So you really do have that one-on-one mentorship with your professor, and you're not in a big classroom where you feel swallowed up. So there are a lot of different opportunities for students to be successful with their academics, as long as they use the resources available.
Great, thank you. Let's go to Pitt.
So I feel like a really overlooked resource is our librarians. All of our librarians are specialized in pretty much every single field. You can find a librarian that like knows about that field and has done their master's level research in it. So that's a really great resource because they also know then where all of the books are. They also know how to use all the different research databases. They know how to access everything online. So they can be a really helpful place to get started. Also academic advisors, because they know your major inside and out. And once you declare a major, you'll meet with an advisor within that academic department, and they can really help narrow in on opportunities that might be unique and specific to you as an individual, as opposed to, well, every neuroscience major does this. They're looking at you and they get to know you. So they're able to say, you will really enjoy this specific opportunity. Our Office for Undergraduate Research is a really great place to be. Our career services team will help our students out. Our academic coaches are a really great way to say, okay, college is really different than high school. I don't have class on Fridays. How do I use that time? And for them to say, okay, well, here's how you can use that time. You should maybe not sleep all day, but instead do some studying, go to the library, go to tutoring. We have both full-time tutors and peer tutors who have taken the classes that you are taking and who know the faculty really well in those departments and who can help you navigate their specific exams and their specific teaching styles. But we also have writing resources and the STEM lab, where if you're struggling with anything in the STEM field, you can go and receive help. And one of our best benefits, I think, for students is just we have drop-in tutoring hours where it's in the library, so you can just go and be in the space and not ask for help necessarily, but kind of use that as a space to get your homework done. And if you do happen to have a question about a problem set or about a lab, you can then go and ask one of the tutors that one specific question, but it's a really nice place where it is very studiously focused. And if you need the help, you can ask for it immediately, but something like that really helps our students stay motivated to get all of their work done. In a really positive environment. We try and do as much as we can to destigmatize tutoring and seeking help, because we know that everybody needs at least a little bit of help some of the time.
Great, thank you. And let's go to UAB, wrap up this question.
Awesome. So at UAB, we have what we call the Vulcan Materials Academic Success Center, also known as VMASC, on our campus. We love our acronyms at UAB. So there are 2 different opportunities through VMASC. First is our academic success coaching, where you guys can be assisted through the college transition process, learning organization skills, time management, things of that nature that can help you be successful during your tenure in undergraduate and graduate programming. VMASC also offers free tutoring. Like everybody says, we offer drop-in, we offer scheduled appointments, one-on-one, group, you name it. And then we also, like Pitt said, have incredible resources through our library as well. I think one of the number one resources that is missed is your professors. I think a lot of students are intimidated by talking to their professors and talking to them. Don't be, they are there to help make sure that you succeed and pass their classes. So utilize those office hours that are published on your syllabus at the beginning of every semester, going in, talking to them. They know their class backwards and forwards and can be a really great asset for you, in addition to the other services that are offered on campus.
Great, thank you very much. I know that some of you have talked about some of the experiential learning opportunities that you have on your campus, but would you share with us anything that you haven't discussed in terms of hands-on learning opportunities for students? And we'll start with Nova Southeastern.
Thank you. Yeah, so we have our Excel units. We have 4 different ways that you can fulfill them. I already spoke about the career development option. Students can also participate in study abroad. So you can do that for, a week in between semesters, for a full semester. We have a semester at sea. Over the summer, there are a bunch of different options where you can be immersed in another community for that length of time. We also offer research. So like I said before, we have over 150 research projects currently on campus that students can get involved in as early as their freshman year. And then we also have mentorship. So we have peer-to-peer mentorship that students can get involved in and help other students feel more acclimated on campus.
Great, thank you. Let's go to Pitt.
So research, of course, is a really big one. We are a tier 1 research school. We are ranked, I think, in the top 5 for NIH, National Institute of Health research and funding for that. So that can be a really great place for students to check out their interests and really delve into them in new ways. We offer a course for first-year students called First Experiences in Research, which if you're in the course, you are guaranteed to do 5 to 10 hours of research per week your second semester senior year with a faculty member on campus. And so that's a great way of having guaranteed research, but also because the faculty know they're working with first-year students, there's a lot of mentorship that goes with that. And there's a lot of understanding that you're figuring out college for the first time. And so they kind of help alongside your own academic journey, which is really wonderful. We encourage our students to do a lot of shadowing because that's a great way of earning those clinical hours, getting in those experiences, and really standing out in your applications for graduate schools. Over 40% of Pitt alums are in the greater Pittsburgh area. And so we really are able to utilize that alumni network to help our students get into really cool spaces, whether it be in research or shadowing or career opportunities. So a lot of different ways to get that hands-on experience, as Sarah mentioned, study abroad, learn how to do it in other countries, learn from people outside of your comfort zone is another really fun way of exploring your interests just a little bit outside of Pittsburgh.
Great, thank you. And UAB.
So research is definitely big at UAB for sure. We have some really interesting and unique labs on our campus for our students to get involved in the undergraduate level. But we also offer research and education abroad opportunities on all 7 continents. We have had 98% of our majors do some form of study abroad or research abroad. We offer those on 1 week, 1 semester, and 1 year basis, depending on what works best for you. And I do say all 7 continents, we do have students going down to Antarctica on a regular basis to do some of their research, which is pretty interesting in my opinion. I didn't have that opportunity when I was a student. So to be able to have the chance to travel to all 7 continents while also knocking out research and course credits is pretty interesting.
Where do I sign? All right, let's hear from Augusta.
Yes, as others have mentioned, I had not mentioned study abroad yet. Augusta also has what we call study away trips. So if leaving the country is not possible or not plausible with your degree plan, we have some trips that go to other parts of the United States that you may not have been to before, or that may be particularly relevant to your area of study. As Caitlin mentioned, we have trips that range from a week to a semester to a year. And so some of those trips stay in the United States and some of them go to other countries beyond the borders of the US. I would also mention Augusta has a plethora of student organizations relative to so many pre-professional areas. So the pre-nursing society, pre-medical society, pre-dental society, pre-PA and PT and OT. So whatever your area is that you're exploring, you can join up with other students. There'll be students in that organization from their first year to on the verge of graduation and probably completing those applications, so you can get knowledge from those other students who are you're right on their tails, really, of experiencing those things just after they've just made some of those decisions, been through some of the same classes and interviews and applications. So you can learn from their knowledge as well, in addition to what's going on in your classes, to make good decisions about what's the next step for you and what path you're going to take.
So many great opportunities. So you've talked about those experiential opportunities, but what type of special facilities do y'all have on your campus for health sciences students? And I think some of you mentioned some undergraduate research. If you want to talk a little bit more about that, now would be a great time. So let's start with Pitt for this round.
Okay, so we have, of course, like as all of us are going to, a lot of different facilities and resources. For our nursing students, we have our Wiser lab, which has those simulation mannequins that you can take their blood, you can give them an IV, they can puke on you, they can give birth, they got their little voice boxes, so your faculty can talk through them. We have simulation clinical areas. So it looks like an actual hospital room, but you're not in an actual hospital. And it's a great place to practice those skills, get familiar with just being in a hospital setting without actually needing to be in a hospital setting. And we have labs for all different kinds of things, whether it be biomedical engineering, and you need to look at biomedical engineering things as one does, or if you need to be in one of those super duper clean rooms where there's only a 0.0001% of germs have made it into the room at that point in time. And that's really important to the integrity of what you're studying. If you're using test tubes and beakers, if you're doing something in the public health realm, and so you're doing a lot more of qualitative studies, doing interviews with local people in the neighborhood, figuring out about food deserts, doing policy work. So research just has this really broad range, and we have the equipment to really facilitate what that looks like for you and to be in those spaces that will help you figure out what you want to do and then build out your resume so that you look really competent in what you want to do and that you are really competent in the areas that you are most interested in.
Great, thank you. Let's go to UAB.
So UAB is definitely in the forefront when it comes to research. We were very involved in the research and implementation process during the COVID pandemic, and the research for the vaccinations and things of that nature. We also are a leader in the country for cancer centers. We have been ranked as one of America's best hospitals, and our students are getting to get in those labs starting in undergrad, doing cancer research, doing AIDS and HIV research, diabetes, you name it. I was talking to a student the other day, and she's working on a cure for type 1 diabetes. And so that is just fascinating things in my mind as someone that's not in the science field, but that our students are getting involved as freshmen in some of those leading cutting edge research that is going to have an impact in the long run for not only our students and their approach to medicine, but also the world and the state of Alabama.
Great. Let's go to Augusta, please.
Yes, as the University of Pittsburgh mentioned, I would be remiss to mention our simulation center, which serves both, or it serves across the Dental College of Georgia, the Medical College of Georgia, all of the allied health science programs, and the College of Nursing. And so you can imagine that facility is very diverse. It does everything from the patients who do all those bodily functions for you and with you, and you're working on treating them, as well as different tasks. So there are surgical stations set up for Medical College of Georgia students, and students are interacting with one another in those facilities as well. So that's really an excellent facility for students to be practicing the skills. And I would mention that with our College of Nursing, so when you're doing your OB rotation, you can't make women appear and coming into labor in the hospital, right? And so as you're doing your different rotations for clinical things in your program of study, they're tracking students' learning experiences so that once you get into the simulation center and some of those environments that are more crafted and controlled, they are tracking all of the skills that you need and making sure that you get all of those skills, even if they don't appear live in the hospital during your rotation. So at the Augusta University Medical Center is the facility where our students in the allied health science programs, sometimes from your first semester in the program, you're practicing and doing clinical experiences. Sometimes it's in a couple semesters in, but they're tracking all of those skills that you need and then filling in the gaps in the simulation center for other things that you might not see in the real live environment. Our College of Science and Mathematics building itself is also brand new at Augusta University, opened just a little over a year ago, over 125,000 square feet. And so there are 22 teaching labs in that facility for a school with, we're a mid-sized school, with a little over 5,000 undergraduate students and an entire top floor dedicated to research. That's a really excellent facility for someone who is in the math or sciences and working in those lab spaces.
Thank you. And Nova Southeastern.
Thank you. Yeah, so we have, like everyone, Heather said, we all have so many different amazing opportunities for our students. We did just build a hospital on campus with an ER room as of November of last year. So there are a lot of opportunities for our students to get involved there, whether it be volunteer work, research, or internships. We do have clinics on campus, that are open to the public. So that's also a lot of hands-on experience within like our dental medicine and optometry. And then with research specifically, we do have a oceanographic center about 15 minutes from our main campus, which is marine science, a little bit different than those pre-med programs, but they are doing things like coral reef restoration and anti-cancer therapies. So students can get involved in that research if it's just something that they're really interested in and want to explore other options. But there are so many different things that they can get involved in. We have like state-of-the-art chemistry labs. So just different opportunities that students can have hands-on experience.
Great. It all sounds wonderful. Thank you. So now let's talk about career services or graduate school guidance. What type of assistance do you give students in these areas, and maybe share some of the companies or health institutions that recruit from your campus? So let's start with UAB.
Yeah, so UAB does have a career services center on our campus to assist students in finding a job, finding those internship opportunities, shadowing opportunities, things of that nature. If you are in one of the pre-professional tracks, one of their roles as your advisor is to work with you to help you through the application process to your professional program. So your advisors are working alongside you in that regards. In regards to graduate school programming for our health sciences students, most are going on to UAB because it is the largest institution for medical and health services in the state. However, our students are going on to any program in the country. So if you have your eyes set on going to a specific medical school or optometry school, we are definitely assisting our students in that regard. Same with master's level programmings as well. In regards to employment opportunities, our students are definitely getting depending on what labs they're working with, our students are getting opportunities to work with national labs as well, in regards to not only their internships and shadowing opportunities, but after they graduate from their institutions as well in the graduate fields.
Great, thank you. Augusta.
Yeah, so I would mention across the board with the different allied health science and nursing programs, there are about 5 different hospitals in Augusta itself. So many students are doing their internships or clinical hours at those different facilities and then being offered positions right out of graduation. So that's exciting. There's a lot of different places to network, a lot of AU alums in the area and in those facilities. Of course, as UAB mentioned, we have a career services staff. Students are in the sciences, their faculty advisor is a pre-professional advisor if the student declares that concentration pre-medical, pre-dental. And so you'll receive that guidance about the classes and the path that you need to be on with your applications and taking standardized exams. And then I would mention that some of our undergraduate research opportunities have options for partnering with faculty at MCG, for example, in summer research. So there are opportunities absolutely to start to get to know faculty within those graduate programs, PT, OT, PA, MD and DMD, in order to advance your application success or chances for success once you're going toward those graduate applications.
Great, thank you. Let's go to Nova.
Yes, thank you. So with our students, if they're involved in our dual admission programs, those programs specifically work with the students throughout their undergraduate and graduate programs to make sure they're on track, passing any necessary tests, things like that, to be successful within that program. And then students that aren't in our dual admission programs, but do want to go on to graduate school, really do work with their edge advisor. So again, that's that person, that's their career and academic coach. And that's kind of their A to Z person for their entire undergraduate. So they will help them prepare for graduate school, making sure that if they, want to finish at their bachelor's level and go straight into the workforce, building that resume, helping them find job opportunities. We'll host things like career fairs on campus for our students to get the next step.
Great, thank you. Let's go to Pitt.
Yeah, so we have our Pre-Health Resources Center, which is just kind of the hub for all things health and pre-health and figuring out exactly what you want to do. You can meet with people there and they'll help you with interview prep for those graduate school interviews. They'll help you with formatting your resume, making sure that you have a really strong research CV, all those different things. We also have specialty advisors for things like Fulbright, Rhodes, and Goldwater fellowships. So one of my current students is a Goldwater fellow, which means that they recognize the amount of research that she did in her undergrad and the fact that she wants to go into the research profession when she graduates. And so it is a beautiful, beautiful gift for her with a lot of funding available that will really help her in her next steps. And so we have a lot of advisors specifically to work with students who are interested in those kinds of fellowships and experiences. And then of course, our major specific advisors will help students kind of navigate those next steps. And in terms of where our students go, it's pretty much everywhere. It's lots of different kinds of schooling. It's graduate schools, it's staying in Pittsburgh, it's leaving Pennsylvania, it's being able to go straight into the nursing profession. For example, our students who are in our nursing program do get their BSN, their Bachelor of Science in Nursing, and they receive over 1,000 clinical hours by the time they graduate, allowing them to go straight into the field or to more school if they so desire. So it is very variable depending on which actual field you're in, but our students, over 94% of our students within 6 months of graduating are in their next steps, be it full-time work or graduate school.
Great, thank you very much. So how can students learn more about your university? Let's start with Augusta.
Yeah, so obviously our admissions team hosts events throughout the year. We host virtual information sessions every Friday. And then there are on-campus information sessions and walking tours of a lot of these spaces that I've been mentioning throughout the week. Students can sign up for those online. And then specific to different programs, I would encourage students to browse the websites. There's a lot of really rich information there about planning for that graduate application of choice. What does the program and the profession do? A lot of that information is housed online. There's some really great frequently asked questions databases of things that students should prepare for or keep in mind as they have some of their end career goals in mind. And then some of the programs host virtual Q&As throughout the year. Primarily those are hosted virtually. So it's a good opportunity if you live not so close to tune in and learn more about the program. And again, students should check the individual websites of the programs. I would say one strength that Augusta has is that so many of our program directors make themselves very available via email to set up some kind of a phone call. If you have a short list of questions, really pointed questions, do your research on the website. But then if there's a few gaps for things that you need to know, our program directors make themselves quite available, because many of our programs are quite small. They only accept between maybe 6 and 30 students in each cohort. They're highly competitive. And so they want to invest in those students who are applying there. And so they want to get to know you and hear more about you, and also hear your directed questions.
Great, thank you. Nova.
Thank you. Yeah, so similarly, we have online and in-person tours where you will have an information session and get to tour the campus. Our tours are also led by current students, which is really helpful for students that are interested in kind of picking their brains and learning more about how they're involved on campus and what programs they're a part of. We also have some different offices. We'll do like our osteopathic medicine, we'll do tours if it's requested. And then we do offer a lot of virtual sessions for different programs. I actually did one last night for healthcare sciences. We'll have a professor and a faculty member and an alumni come on and speak about the different opportunities that students have. So that seems to be really fruitful for those incoming students. And then finally, being able to just connect with your admissions counselor. So for here at MSU, we all have different territories. So we all work with different states. And those students are able to reach out to us and schedule phone calls, in-person appointments, or Zoom appointments where we can answer as many questions as possible for them.
Great, thank you. Let's go to Pitt.
Yeah, so to start kind of out and then zoom in, your admissions counselor for your specific territory is a really great place to start, as well as our university website. It has all of our different majors and minors and a lot of FAQs on it, specifically our admissions page, but also every single one of our majors has its own page. And you can even see what the 4-year kind of timeline or academic plan would be for that specific major. And then to zoom in a little bit more, learning more about the university through visiting, whether it be in person or online. We have in-person visits Monday through Saturday. We do online visits also every month. And then we also have specific visits for each of our academic schools. So the Dietrich School of Arts and Sciences, the Swanson School of Engineering, if you're interested in bioengineering, School of Nursing, Public Health, all of those different options will offer both in-person and virtual opportunities to get to know each school and those school-specific resources. And then kind of like the last thing that you might do is an on-campus event, whether it be a Blue and Gold Day, which is for students who have not yet been admitted. So you're somewhere in your college search process. Maybe you're just starting, or maybe you're deciding where you want to apply, or our admitted student days, which are, as they sound like, specifically for our admitted students. And those happen throughout the spring semester. I will say our nursing program is notorious for showcasing a cadaver during their in-person programs. So definitely, if that's something that's of interest to you, I would recommend coming in person and checking it out, because before you commit to school, we definitely recommend visiting in person at some point in your college search process, just because that's the best way to get a sense of, do I fit in here? Do I feel a sense of belonging and inclusion? Is this a place where I feel like I can thrive?
Great, thank you. And UAB.
Perfect. So in order to get to know UAB, my first recommendation would be to contact your admissions counselor. We have admissions counselors assigned for the whole entire country. And so reaching out to that individual, picking their brain, asking about the admissions process, things of that nature. I would also encourage students to come and visit UAB. We are a mid-size urban campus, and so getting that feel is different than a traditional college campus, but we are unique in that our students do have a campus green right in the middle of UAB. So coming and getting a tour of that facility. We offer our out-of-state students a gold tour, which is specifically allowed and designed so that you can get to know your program of choice, talk to our faculty members, get to know current students, and pick their brains as well. And then, like Pitt said, we have on-campus events as well that we would encourage you to attend. And we are traveling to your guys' towns as well for UAB nights, where you can come and meet with your college in your backyard. So first, get to know your admissions counselor. Second, definitely sign up also for our email notifications so that you're staying up to date on where we're traveling, so that we can connect with you in that way too.
All right, those are all great resources. Thank you. So now, if you could just share a little bit about what you're looking for in prospective students beyond the GPA and test scores, and what type of student thrives on your campus. Let's start with Nova.
Great, thank you. So beyond GPA and test scores, which we are test optional for this year, we do a holistic review. So we're looking at all of the documents that you're submitting to us. So we're interested in seeing what it is you have done through high school, whether it's volunteer work, internship, being involved in any sports or clubs on your high school campus, having a job. So anything that you can show us that you've done that would carry in some experience into your undergraduate degree is really important and a part of that holistic review. And then for the kind of student that thrives on our campus, I would say students that really want to be a part of the NSU community and they want to make a difference on campus. So not just the person that is here to just study and go home, but the person that is involved in different clubs and organizations or a sport or a sorority or fraternity, interested in doing that research, getting involved in internships, and just making NSU a home for them and making it a better place for the future undergraduate students here.
Great, thank you. Pitt.
Yeah, similar to what Sarah said, we also do a holistic review. We are test optional, and so you get to choose if you want that to be part of your review, but we're also looking at your essay, we're looking at your activities. I always say we are not trying to admit numbers onto our campus, we're trying to admit students. And so we want to know who you are as a student, who are you as a person? And so we try and get to know you as much as we can through the application process. And then in terms of thriving, I think students who are willing to raise their hand thrive on our campus. And that looks like the student who raises their hand in class and says, I'm really interested in whatever it is that you just said. I want to learn more about that. Or the student who raises their hand by going to office hours, or the student who raises their hand and says, I need help with tutoring, or I want to join a student organization. A student who is really kind of looking for more experiences, but who is also really dedicated to building out their community and being inclusive as they do that. Are students who tend to do really, really well on our campus.
Thank you. UAB.
So UAB is only looking at your GPA and test scores. We are test optional this year through fall 2024. So that is a decision that you can make when you are applying to the institution and to your major of choice. Now, when it comes to students who thrive on our campus, we are looking for the go-getters, the students who are looking for those opportunities to not only continue their academic success, but also to continue their growth as an individual. So we're looking for the students who are looking to get involved and get engaged, get connected, whether that's through their research, student organizations, shadowing, you name it. So the students who are successful on our campus are those who are looking to be successful and looking for the opportunities to make sure that they can do so.
Great, thank you. Let's go to Augusta.
Thank you. So we are we look only at GPA and test scores. Augusta University uses the Common App, so you can find us there for the application. This year through fall 2023 at this time, students who have a recalculated GPA from their core curriculum of 3.5 or higher can be test optional. So you would work with your admissions counselor to determine where you fall kind of with that GPA recalculated in the core curriculum. And if you can be test optional with the test scores, we take SAT and ACT and can super score those tests. And I would say, as some of the counselors talked about earlier, visiting a campus is a really great way to know if you feel comfortable there, if you feel like you're going to thrive there and there are people that you want to connect with. I would just talk about Augusta a little bit to say of student thriving on our campus. Augusta is a big, small city. We're not an urban campus, I would say, but we're a big, small city in the state of Georgia. So There's some really unique things to our institution and the city of Augusta. It's a growing place. There's a military base close by, so that means there's a VA medical center. We're also home to the Masters Golf Tournament. So students get to work every year. You can be part of a job fair to go work at this international event, really, and rub elbows with celebrities like Snoop Dogg who show up in town. It's pretty cool. So in addition to those, I think being curious and asking questions about things that you're interested in, connecting with people is a good way to know if you'll thrive there, and just adventuring a little bit in the larger city where you're going to live as well.
Thank you very much. All right, our last question. What is one piece of advice that you would like to share with students about the admission and college search process? And let's start with Pitt.
You are going to end up at a school and you're going to do well there. And if you go in with that mindset, you're going to have a much less stressful process, because it's true. There are thousands of colleges in the US. And a lot of them offer, as you just heard from all four of us, we're all four very different schools, but we offer a lot of the same programs with a lot of the same resources. And I think that's really important to be aware of, which means a student is going to thrive in any of our environments. And so it's really just up to you to figure out, well, which one are you most excited about? But also choosing the school that loves you back. You're excited about a school. Are they excited about you? Do they have resources to support you? Are they able to offer you a financial aid package? Are they able to offer you scholarship? What else are they telling you that makes you feel like, wow, they love me just as much as I love them? But you're going to find a school, you're going to be successful, you're going to get to college, and it's going to be okay.
Great advice. Thank you. Let's go to UAB.
Well, that was great advice, Pitt. I would totally echo that 100%. The other thing I would say, students, is be patient. There are a lot of you guys applying to our institutions. And so instant gratification is not a thing that occurs necessarily in the admission search process. So if you are looking for that, plan ahead. That is going to be our advice. If for my juniors, if you have not, obviously you have not applied yet, start early during your senior year. Seniors, get on those applications. So we, as soon as we get information from you, we are turning those around as quickly as we can. But if you send something to me at 8 a.m., I have no decision for you by 5 p.m. that day. So making sure that you guys are waiting with that process. I know that you're anxious, so we are anxious for you guys, but just be patient and know that instant gratification does not exist in the world of admissions.
Very good advice. All right, Augusta.
Yes, I would second and third the advice that was given already. One piece that advice I would get is that it's never too early to explore that big dream and that big goal you have. So like Caitlin said, start your process early, but even if you're thinking medical school and you think, gee, that's 4 years away, it is not too early. I knew one of our student workers in the office, and her goal is to be an OBGYN. And she was just a sophomore coming out of her sophomore year, but she did research with a faculty member from the Medical College of Georgia on how Augusta University health employees were responding to public health messages about the COVID vaccination. So this is a way that really early on in the process, she was being exposed to medical college faculty. She was being exposed to controlled research. She was being exposed to public health messaging, and she was finding out more about herself and about how her big goal fit into where she was right now in her academic process. So the first semester of your freshman year, the second semester of your freshman year is not too early to get involved with research and some of those pieces that will link up to what you think you may be doing down the road 3 or 4 years from now.
More great advice. All right, thank you. And last but certainly not least, let's hear from Nova Southeastern.
Thank you. Yeah, so my biggest piece of advice would be when you are researching different colleges and institutions, to also research scholarship opportunities. When it comes to financial aid, even if you think you're not going to get anything, you should still apply. You get up to 10 schools that you can put on your FAFSA, and I suggest doing that because you obviously want it to be a fit for you academically, but also financially. And then my second piece of advice would be to really lean on your admissions counselor. We know this is your first time applying to college. We know that it's scary, and we know that you don't have all of the answers, but that is our job, and that's what we're here for. So just don't be afraid to ask for help.
That is really great advice as well. Thank you to all of you. Thank you so much to all our panelists for sharing this great information today. Viewers, thank you for watching. Don't forget to visit each of these colleges' virtual booths on the Basecamp website. And we encourage you to take advantage of some of the other college panels, workshops, and virtual booths found there. Thank you for tuning in.